Good evening, everybody. This will be the first time I'm doing this. I'm recording this in my cellar, in my man cave, of a hike that I took today on Hawk Mountain in Kempton, Pennsylvania. I took approximately 51 still pictures because the hike, and it's only a 1 miler up a mountain, is so rocky, Pennsylvania, that you must pay attention where you're walking. So what I did was took pictures along the way, both going up and down the mountain. Hawk Mountain is known for its bird watching. I am going to be showing you 21 stills during this taping that can show what I went through today, how I enjoyed it, the equipment I used, and I don't remember showing this to you before. It's the Sony CyberShot. Takes beautiful pictures, as you'll see very shortly on this video. It has an 800 zoom on it, which isn't very clear, but I did take a few zoom shots with it today. I also used my eTrex 20 from Garmin. Kept very accurate recordings, probably within about 12 steps of where I actually was on the edge of the mountain, both at the south point, the north point, where most of the bird watching takes place, and back down the mountain with a lot of information that really assists me in knowing how far I walk, how fast I walk, the direction. It gives it all. Those of you that have a Garmin or other GPS know how valuable they are. I really enjoy mine. It's tiny, fits in my pocket. Really is a great little piece of equipment. The last piece I used was the watch that I've shown you guys before. It's also a Garmin GPS watch. As before I explained, I'm very happy with it. It works real well on long straight hikes. Also tells you the calories you burned, your speed limit, even when walking, your distance, your calories burned. I think I already said that. But on this walk, being that it was so slow going up the mountain trying to watch where you were walking, it kept going into auto pause for me. And then I would wind up walking another 20 yards or so before it would come off of auto pause. So it kind of irritated me a little bit that the watch really didn't work for this type of hike. So far it's worked for all my other ones very well. One little other point I have concerning the difference between the GPS Garmin, the eTrex 20, and the Forerunner 10. Forerunner 10 really is built for runners. I'm using it for hiking, but the difference between the eTrex 20, which is good within about 10 or 12 steps, this is not, and in a mile, my eTrex 20 will read 1.1 when this reads 1 mile. So they're off a little bit. I've already talked to the Garmin people. They want me to send in snapshots of both this and this to see which is more accurate on my side. But by using the vehicle, my truck, this so far has been the better of the two pieces of equipment. Of course, it did cost a lot more and it has a lot more features in it. But I'm very happy with both so far. I was just disturbed today that the watch just didn't hold up to its own on a very slow hike. All right, going through the pictures, going to start at the top. The very first one you see is when you take off from the station at the bottom of the hill. You get up to about the first turn where you turn left to start climbing up the ridge. And you'll see my picture there in front of what type of birds you're going to see, when they fly. It's a good little indicator of what you can expect when you get up the mountain. The next picture is South Point. They have a volunteer standing there actually watching for birds, and this time of year they have been spotting the sharp-tailed hawk. Quite a bit. I believe they saw 29 of them yesterday. The next picture is the River of Rocks, it's called, and as you can see down the center, in the big V, there is a huge rock type river down there that is nothing but rock. It's very interesting. This mountain was used at one time to make sand that they used to ship down by mule. The next picture, of course, is just the name of that location. You're going to come upon the next picture being a hangar of the next site, which you'll see is a thing called Bald Rock. It's a bear to crawl on. You got to be a rock climber to get up on this one. It's got a good view on the other side though. All right, as you leave there and start going up the mountain more, you'll see that it starts getting real steep, and they've put in man-made steps, but they've used the logs and the trees from the area. They didn't bring anything in, they used what was there. As you see, it really climbs up and turns to the left on the next picture. As you get up to the top, it tells you in a beautiful brass and black painted direction which way you'd really want to go to see all the different sites. The next picture which again is climbing up. They put handrails in. These handrails are composite material. They're not wood, so they're not rotting away. And you can see when you start getting up to the top there, the hanging boards telling you exactly where you are. Now the top next two pictures, they have people up there every single day watching these birds and counting them. They have specific people that actually have a little area up there that they've cleaned out, and they've brought their little chairs up, and they are there from morning till night till it gets dark, and then they've got to come back down the mountain. A surprising fact, which I also asked about today, you'll see a pole with a bird on top. Well, that's a stuffed owl. I asked why they do that. They say that there are birds of prey out there that have an instinct to automatically attack an owl when it's perched on a limb or a pole like that one is. It has to do with their nesting. They claim that it's automatic. They've already sat there and watched hawks come up and attack this owl right in front of them. The hawks don't care that the people are there. They see this owl and they want to get him away from, or her away from, their area. The next picture, if you get a good look at it, you'll see that there are actually turkey vultures flying. There's two types there. One is the black and one is the banded. I believe it's a banded. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they just fly around the area constantly. They do not migrate, so they stay in that area all the time. I've asked where the kestrels are located, and they said the kestrels constantly stay around there as long as there's food. And right now, that area of Hawk Mountain and the Blue Mountains is very, very rich in food. All right, going down, starting to go down the mountain now, you'll see that some of the trails and the rocks on there are quite wicked. which is why I didn't want to take my camcorder. The trails get kind of thin too, as you can see, and going down the steps, well, that picture actually shows going up because I turned around to take a picture of it. I missed it before. But then it finally smooths out down toward the bottom. They have these little poles with numbers on them. I'm not sure what they were. I did want to ask. Maybe I'll even write to the online area for Hawk Mountain and ask what those numbers are for. And then finally the bridge down near the bottom. Of course, you know all mountains get washouts in them, and this washout was pretty deep, so they put a bridge in. They're very pretty bridges. They're very sturdy, and people put a lot of time into what they're doing there. They do have outhouses along the way. They've got two at the visitor center, and they have two halfway up the mountain, so all the girls on the way up can take care of themselves. It's made so that even handicap can get up. They do have a handicap wheelchair with large balloon tires to get them up at least to the south lookout point, so at least they can see. We did have a young handicapped boy up there with his mom and brothers who looked like he had cerebral palsy, but he did make it to the top, so it's not impossible for everybody. It was a beautiful trip. It took me about 40 minutes from where I live near Reading to get to Kempton, which is north of Harrisburg. And it's right on the main route. You can't miss it. There's signs all the way along the route. I enjoyed myself. This is the second time in about 5 years I've been up, and I gotta say, not one rock has moved. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm glad to bring it to you. We'll see how this thing sells on YouTube. I'll be editing this and adding the pictures, and I've found myself a new phrase that I got from a friend of mine, and it's a pretty strong phrase. I'm going to be using it now every time I sign off on this thing. It says, stay strong, patient, and trust your journey. Really deep. Give me a like, make a comment. Thank you very much.